We're going to take a look at some players, not necessarily matched up at the same position always, or maybe not even in the same game, but for the most part they are. And we're going to try to give you some fantasy advice. If you had to pick one or the other to get into your fantasy lineup, your daily fantasy lineup, we're going to try to give you some advice as to why you should pick one or the other. So here we go with our full court press debut. Let's begin with a couple of big names and a couple of big price tags for your daily fantasy lineup. You better make some room for either Boogie Cousins or LeBron James, both five-figure players tonight. Which side are you going to go with here as these two teams are matched up?
Okay, well, a lot of people are going to shy away from LeBron James in this situation because everyone's talking about LeBron's minutes and whether a coach is going to rest him and how that's going to affect him down the stretch. But we're not even at the All-Star break yet. You got to believe that the way LeBron's playing right now and the numbers he's putting up, 21 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds over the last 5 games, he's going to be able to continue into the All-Star break. Then we'll worry about resting him afterwards in order to make that playoff push. So for me, I'm going with LeBron James because I feel like the 45 minutes he played versus Spurs and the 44 minutes he played versus the Pelicans, even though he's got heavy workload, he's still performing, and he's going to continue to do that.
You know, by the way, I should note that unlike That's My Quarterback, this is not about wins, right? The quarterback wins were the big reason for picking one quarterback over the other. In this case, it's about which player will have the most fantasy points in daily fantasy. It's hard to go against LeBron James, especially given the fact that they've lost 5 of their last 7 games, and he is clearly frustrated over the way things are going. He has sent the message out, put the bat signal out there for his GM David Griffin and the rest of the organization that we need help. And I know this is maybe a small thing, but the way he said it, the way he was using F-bombs and things like that, he typically doesn't do that in media, especially in like a news conference type format or around his locker. He's pretty straight in terms of his language when that, you know, in those situations, right? So it was his kind of way, like, I'm serious.
Oh yeah, you better believe it.
So he is frustrated. But I think because of that too, I wonder, not that he's not trying hard, not that he wouldn't put out his A-plus performance every night out, because I know that's not the case. I mean, he always wants to win. But if he goes out, and I think maybe he's saying, look, I can't go out there and do this and by myself carry this team out there. Not that people are necessarily saying that, but I wonder if he's like, look, if we keep not losing, but maybe not showing that we're at our peak performance, maybe we will get some help.
If that's the case, we have big issues with LeBron because if that's how immature he's going to act, then that's pretty insane.
Right.
But I think he's going to go out and put up a big performance against.
I think he probably will. But the problem is, who's going to stop Boogie Cousins? And that's where I'm going. And that's no knock on the Cavaliers because not many teams have that guy that can stop DeMarcus Boogie Cousins. This guy is a beast. He is, in my opinion, the best big man in the NBA, hands down. He can do it all. He can show you his range from outside. He can obviously power you from down low. Yes, he gets the knock because of some of the things that he does as far as his emotions, that they get the better of him at times. But he also, look, over the last couple of weeks, he has been called for fouls that just had no business being whistled, let alone being directed at him.
Right.
So I understand the frustration, and maybe part of it is his problem because he's kind of created that about himself and to the referees. But I think tonight on a big stage against Cleveland, knowing that a lot of attention is going to be on this game, he's going to show out. So I'm going to say that Boogie Cousins is going to have the better night fantasy-wise.
It's interesting that we're talking about frustrations for these two guys. Individual for Boogie and team for LeBron.
Right.
These are going to come head-to-head. We'll see what happens.